found out my ex was cheating on me by going through his email. Yes, his email. So my ex and I were in a 6-year relationship, what I thought was an exclusive relationship. So on the night that I found out, I was laying in bed and I just had this unsettling feeling that he was doing something, that he was up to no fucking good. So it was almost as if someone whispered in my ear and was like, hack them emails, girl. And so I did, which wasn't hard at all. And lo and behold, in his trash folder were emails between him and the bitch that he was cheating with. The first email that I clicked on was an email from her to him that read something like this. I went past your house last night at 1 o'clock in the morning and I seen Candace's car. Let's pause right there. Because not only did she know he had a girlfriend, she knew me by name and knew what car I drove. Yeah. She goes on to say, why is her car there? You told me that you didn't want to be with her anymore, that you were breaking up with her, that you're just so unhappy with her. If you're so unhappy with her, why is she at your house at 1 o'clock in the morning? And I'm summarizing what she's saying. She said a whole bunch of other things in that email. She was going off. So his response to her was, I don't have to explain to you why my girl's car is at my house. There were a couple of other emails that followed after that, but honestly, I don't even remember what they said because I crashed out. I was a certified crash out at that point. So I copied her email and emailed her from my email. And basically in my email to her, I'm like, this is Candace. You clearly know who I am already. But I found these emails between you and him, and I just want to hear it straight from you, like, what's going on with y'all? What's tea? She responds back and tells me that she has been messing with him on and off since 2000 and something, which quite literally was our entire 6-year relationship that he had been on and off with this girl. She goes on to reiterate that he told her he doesn't want to be with me and that he was talking about how he was going to break up with me and yada, yada, yada. She also told me, she was like, he was at my house the night before last fixing my fucking tire. So yeah, that's how I found out, by going through the emails. That's not your most obvious place to look. So moral of the story is, don't sleep on the emails if you're looking. If you have reason to look, don't sleep on that.
Did she know that you were married?
I watched that 8-part story, so you don't have to.
So this couple's been married for about 7 months. They're both in the military. Earlier this week, she calls him and asks him to come home, and he's staying in a separate housing, and he's like, no, I don't want to come home, you come out here. And she's like, I don't have a car, you do. So they get into a bit of a fight over that, and they hang up. A few hours later, he calls her super stressed out, acting like really worked up, and she's like, what's going on? He goes, oh, somebody got a hold of my nudes and they're going to release them if I didn't pay them, so I paid them $700. And she's like, what in the world? What are you talking about? Like, you should have hit me up, you should have contacted me, you should have stayed calm at least. And she's like, you need to call your chain of command and you need to call the bank. So he does that. A few days later, she asks him, like, give me your phone, let me see your phone. And he's like, no way, I'm not giving you my phone. She snatches the phone from him and runs into the bathroom. Now, they've had an incident in the bathroom before, so she was a little nervous. He bursts in and she puts her hand on his chest and she's like, whoa, trying to, like, keep him from hitting her. And he snatches the phone from her and goes out. So she's following him. She finally tries to get the phone from him again and he pushes her. She stumbles back and hits a door and almost falls. And she's like, what in the world? And he's like, don't give me a double standard in the bathroom. You try to hit me. And she's like, I put my hand on your chest. You legit just pushed me. Like, there's no double standard here. So he leaves, but she knows when he comes back, he's going to offer up his phone. And sure enough, he comes back, and what does he do? He offers up his phone. So she goes through it real good this time. She goes to the restricted and blocked people on Instagram, finds a name. She goes into the recently deleted on the text messages, searches that name, Cassie, and finds out that the Cassie name comes under the scammer's name, right? So she pulls up that conversation, and the person's like, hey, and he immediately goes, Cassie, ? And so she's like, damn, this man was already waiting for this girl to hit him up. So she knows there's some type of like already formal, relationship between them. So then the girl goes, if you don't send me X amount of money, I'm going to expose your nudes. Here's the picture of your nudes and here's a picture of you in uniform. Damn. So then he freaks out and sends her the money essentially, right? So the girl's like, why would you do this? Like, I knew something was wrong. I knew it wasn't just like somebody got a hold of your nudes and exposed it. I knew you sent them. You talked to this girl. You ruined our marriage. You cheated on me. Like, why are you trying to lie? So in her mind, she's like, this marriage is over, you need to leave. The video is of him like on his knees trying to beg and cry and admitting to everything. And she's just like, no, like, we're done. People are telling her like, you're gonna go back to him, and she's like, absolutely not. So she's like, I want nothing to do with this person. The military has gotten involved. They do not play with adultery, and he's under investigation. They made him move out of their housing, and if he gets like, you know, found guilty of adultery, he's definitely going to be demoted. And then furthermore, they're apparently going to take his car and give it to her. I don't know how that works, but that's what she said. I don't know. You guys let me know how you guys feel about this one. Y'all have a great day. Bye.
So, long story short, I did want to elaborate what happened that day. I was at the dog park, and a good friend of mine, my best friend, my road dog, she had called me, but I had missed the call. I was spending time with my dog, so I came home and saw I missed the call, and I called her back and said, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. And that's when she told me. I said, hey, what's going on? And she was like, do you know where such and such is? I was like, no, I don't know where he is at the moment. I was like, wow. She was like, I just saw him at Walmart with another girl. And I was like, excuse me? She said, yeah. I said, well, do you have a video or a photo? She said, hell yeah, I do. So I'm like, okay, well, let me see it. So she sends it to me, and I'm like, they're just getting food. They're not really doing anything. And in my head, I'm like, that is his baby mama. I'm like, something ain't right. So I call him, of course. He does not answer, which never usually happens. He always answers when I call. I was like, yeah, something ain't right. So I get in my car and I drive to his apartment, and of course he's not there, and I'm knocking. Let's just let you know, this was an hour ago when she had called me to tell me that this has happened. So they have been hanging out together for a while. So long story short, he finally calls me back, and I'm like, hey, what you been up to? Line number one. He goes, nothing. I said, so you've been at home all day? He goes, yep. I was like, already lying to me. I said, oh, okay, well, where are you at right now? He was like, at the Watchterier. I said, I'm on my way. He said, I said, which one? The one on Charlotte. I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. He was like, I think my grandma called. Let me call you back. And hangs up in my face. I said, oh, we really up to something we're not supposed to be doing. So all of a sudden, he's blowing my phone up. And I just don't know why. Something tells me not to answer. So I didn't want to answer till I saw him face to face in person. So I'm driving, and I get to the Watchterier. I couldn't tell if this was his car because he had just got a new car. But there was a girl sitting in the car. And I was like, I'm not going to get out yet. So I pull my car on the side of the building, and I sat there for a little bit just to see. And I walk up to the front of the building where the girl can't see me. And I was talking to these ladies. I said, hey, have you seen this guy? They were like, yes, he's been in here. He was in here with another girl, and they were washing clothes together. Even her panties dropped in the parking lot. I was like, well, damn, tell me everything. So then she finally gets out of the car, and I said, hey, do you know who this is? She said, yes, that's such and such. She said, that's my baby daddy. I was like, where is he at? I'm going to tell you on part 2 because I done ran out of video. Sorry.
A lot of boy moms are straight up birds and straight weirdos. Hey y'all, I'm Lily, and my boyfriend's mom helped him cheat on me. Yes. Let me explain what happened. Y'all already know with my story times, I tell you guys who is who, what is what, and what's tea. Let's get right into it, y'all. This is another story time about Thomas the Train. If you're new here, Thomas the Train is one of my ex-boyfriends. I call him Thomas the Train because this man has a round head, a fat face, and he has big old eyes. He literally looks like Thomas the Train, y'all, like, for real. But we're gonna call him Tommy for short. And today I'm introducing Tommy's mom, who we're going to call Eagle. We're gonna call her Eagle because eagles are big, bald birds. I don't think I need to elaborate. This story took place back in 2019. This was the beginning of me and Tommy's relationship. It honestly should have been the end. So during this time period, I don't know what was in the air, y'all, but me and Tommy were fighting like cats and dogs. Okay, we were beefing like actual enemies. I don't know what that was about. This was the beginning of the relationship. So like, why are y'all already fighting so much? It should have been done there. So I remember one day I had told Tommy, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done fighting with you. I'm not going back and forth with you. I want to break up. And y'all, Tommy literally was like,
okay, fine. If that's what you want, that's fine. We could break up.
That was a red flag immediately, because one thing about Tommy never left me alone, okay? If you know, you know, okay? Tommy used to straight up say no. So I was like, why is he giving in so easily? I literally remember just staring at the phone for a second because I was like, okay. Yeah, you want some weird shit. So I remember I had just hung up on him. But like, y'all, the more I was sitting and thinking about the fact that he just said okay to me breaking up with him, like, I was like, something is not right. So I remember I had called him later and I was like, I'm coming to get my stuff. And he was like,
oh, I'm not home right now. And by the time I get home, it's going to be late. So you can just come tomorrow.
Tomorrow? So I'm like, where is Eagle at? She's not home? He talking about?
No, she's not home. She at her boyfriend's house.
So I'm like, okay, is your brother home? He talking about?
My brother is not home.
Yeah. His brother didn't have no job, no friends, no girlfriend, not a pot to fucking piss in. That man did not used to leave the fucking house. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna come another day, knowing damn well I was about to get my ass right in that car and zoom straight to his house, because you're lying. This day, I just felt it in my bones, y'all. And so I remember I had like waited like an hour because I literally had sat at my house, y'all, gaslighting myself, even though I knew Tommy was a liar. Tommy used to lie about air and water. Like, them big ass eyes would get real like shifty and he would just lie straight through them big ass teeth of his. Like, he wasn't even a good liar, y'all. Like, he used to say anything. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm going over there. I pull up to his house and I already think y'all know whose broke down, raggedy ass, scraped up ass car I see front and center. Tommy's. So not only do I see Tommy's car, but I see Eagle's raggedy ass car too. You're a liar. So I get out the car and I'm walking up to the door. Girl, my heart is pounding. So I get to the door. I'm knocking on the door. There's no answer. So I knock again, and this time I hear whispering. I can't make out what's being said, but I can hear Eagle's voice. So I start calling both of them, and neither one of them are answering their phone. I can literally hear them whispering through the door. So Eagle opens the door finally, and she's like, "Hey, Lily, you didn't tell me you were coming?" Not once have I ever called this lady to ever tell her that I was ever coming to her house. So I try and immediately like walk past her to go to the back, like where Tommy's room is. And she's like, "Lily, come in my room. Like, I want to show you what I bought today." I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't out the ordinary because like she would always call me in her room to show me things that she bought, like when she went shopping. So I was like, but when I got in her room, she closed the door. She don't ever close her door, like ever. It's always wide open. So she's showing me the stuff that she bought or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, at a point, it seemed like she just started pulling shit out her ass, y'all. Like, cause she needed to stall. So I ended up telling her, like, you know, I just came to grab something really quickly from Tommy. I'm in a rush right now. And so I try to leave. Do y'all know that this big ass lady jumped her ass in front of her door and was like,
"You can't go out there."
What? She's like,
"Him and his brother are back there. They're about to take something out and I don't want you to see it."
Bitch, am I 5? And what the fuck are they taking out? Is it a body? Like, what are you talking about right now? So I told her, like, I have to go. So at this point, she's literally ignoring me, okay? But she's still standing in front of her door. So I go to the window in her room because he literally would have to, like, walk past her window to get to his car. If he didn't walk past the window, he would have to walk all the way around his building. Do y'all know that this lady called her son and said,
"Take the long way because she's standing at the window"?
You a op for real. I got so mad, y'all, and I literally just started going off on her. So I just started telling her, like, you are not only a poor excuse for a mother, but for a woman. How dare you help this man cheat on me and you smile in my face every single day? I literally started calling her all types of weirdos to her face. Like, and I honestly, to this day, I don't regret it because what the fuck is wrong with you? So then she starts yelling back and she's like,
"Don't disrespect me in my house. Your attitude is always so nasty and that's why he's cheating on you now."
Bitch. So I was like, yeah, and that's why his dad cheated on you and had 2 babies on you. And she was like,
Why would you say something like that? Have you lost your mind?
And so I just started laughing. One thing about me, when I get nervous or if I'm like in an uncomfortable situation, like I start laughing. So I start laughing and she's like, and you think this is funny? You think this is funny? And so she's just yelling at this point. She's going on and on and on. So while she's in the middle of her yelling, I hear the front door slam. I have never used all my might to push somebody so big out the way. I literally pushed her and I ran straight through that front door. Y'all, why when I get outside do I see Tommy and a girl running to his car? So I'm standing there looking stupid, mouth just open wide, just looking dumb. Like, I could not believe my eyes. Like, I knew he was on some fuckery, but like somewhere in the back of my mind, I still was like in denial. So I started to like run a little bit in their direction and then I just stopped because I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, so they ended up getting in the car and then they just sped off. So I'm just standing there just dumbfounded because I could not believe this was happening. I remember going back in the house to get my purse and I remember Eagle just standing there looking so stupid. I had rolled my eyes so hard at her and I was like, you were just so disgusting. And then I just got my stuff and left. So Tommy calls me later on that night. I don't even know why I answered, y'all. He talking about,
I know it looks bad, but that girl, she lives in my apartment building. She just had to use the restroom. And I know you be tripping. Like, I know you was gonna go crazy if you seen a girl in the house.
all I could do was laugh, y'all. Because what? So I'm like, why did your mom tell me that you were cheating on me then? Y'all, the phone went dead silent. He talking about,
oh, you know my mom. She just be saying anything. She just be talking.
Y'all, I hung up in his face because don't play with me. Me and Tommy did stay broken up, but we did get back together after like 2 months of our breakup. I know. I have so many stories about Tommy and Eagle and also the nonsense that I was doing during that breakup time. But we're gonna get into all of that later. I realized a lot of boy moms are really coddlers and enablers to grown-ass men, and it's really disgusting and disturbing. So what did we learn today, y'all? If you're breaking up with somebody, stand on it because you're doing it for a reason. That man's mom is not your friend, okay? She's gonna ride for her son every time. And 3, beat his mama up. I'm just playing. Anyway, stay blessed. Bye, y'all.
Story time about the time I walked in on him with another girl and literally took a video of it. This had happened freshman year. I'm a senior now and I'm in a very healthy relationship now. So like I said, this was 3 years ago and it was this guy's birthday. And for his birthday, he had a bunch of people from his high school right down the road come to his apartment and like pregame with us before we went to another party. Also, my best friend was in town, so she was visiting. And for his birthday, I had got him this chain. Keep this in your mind. So the night rolls around and we're all at his apartment pregaming. And all of his like high school friends show up. First red flag is that literally nobody said hi. Keep in mind, these people are still in high school. Second red flag is when we were playing like beer pong, I literally had slipped and like fell on my back. And one of the girls was like, blah, 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 get your girl, talking about me. And he did not help me off the ground. 2 of his other friends helped me off the ground. And we were like laughing about it, but like, what do you mean, blah, get your girl? Like, and he didn't even help me up. The third red flag is that when me and all my friends were like in the living room, him and all these like high school girls were in his room taking shots out of like our alcohol bottles. So we were like, no, absolutely not. And we put our alcohol bottles in the closet. Keep that in mind too. So the pregame's about over and we walk like a neighborhood over to this like party that this guy was having. And there was like a ton of us and we're all walking and I noticed like him and this another girl just like talking like behind everybody. They're like way back and I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna think anything of it because it's his high school friends. He probably hasn't seen them in a while and why would I need to overthink? So we're in this party and there's like a downstairs and an upstairs and one of my friends was like, Megan, I just saw go upstairs with this girl, like, you want me to go check on them? Like, that was like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, sure, like, I don't care. And so she like went up there and she came back down and she was like, he had his arm around her. And I was like, you know what, like, I don't care. I really don't care. So the night was getting pretty late, and I remember he had like Snapchatted me or something and was like, hey, like, we're all going back to my apartment, like, we're just like tired or whatever. And then time rolls around and it's like actually time to like go, you know? So we walk back to his apartment, and it's like me and like 4 other of my girlfriends. And I remember he like wasn't answering my Snapchat, so I was like, I feel like we're like about to walk in on something. Like, I just have like a gut feeling something's not right. When we get back to his apartment, we open like his like main door to his apartment, and these girls just like start like giggling. They're like, and they're like, oh gosh. And I like turn my head, and in my head I'm like, oh gosh, what? Then like me and my 4 girlfriends like go over to his like his room door, and it's locked. So then my friend Tatum's whispering, and she's like, Megan, like, I'm gonna knock, pretend you're not here, like, don't say anything. So she knocks, and she's like, blah blah blah, like his name. She was like, I'm just here to get my alcohol, like, I'm going back to Megan's dorm. And he's like, 1 second. Now it's been like 2 minutes and he still has not opened the door. And she's like, open up, like banging on it and yelling at him. And he's like, hold on, and like opens it. And this is where I like blacked out, like barely remember what went down. We walk in, and Tatum opens the closet to get her alcohol off the top shelf. And what do we see? A little rat hiding in the closet. And my first instinct, I don't know, I've never walked in on something like that. My first instinct was to literally take a video. So I pulled my phone out of my back pocket, I opened Snapchat, and I took a video. I took a video of her hiding in the closet, and then I took a video of him like laying on his bed, and then I like ran out. And I ran into his roommate's room, and I was just like crying because I was like, what the heck did I just walk into? And I literally hear my best friend in the other room like screaming at him. And then in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, what about the chain? I just got him today. I was like, Tatum, please go get it for me. I'm like returning it. So she literally goes back in his room and is like, give me the chain. And he's like, what chain? And this like high school girl is still just like sitting in his room, and he's like, what chain? Like pretending I didn't get him a chain that morning. And she was like, the one on your neck. And he's like so freaked out and scared, he's shaking. He can't get it off. So he goes, Tatum, can you help me get it off? So then I run to my other guy friend's apartment where like everybody would hang out at. And I did not go back to my dorm because I had my best friend there, my brother was in town, my brother's friend was in town, and then my roommate, obviously, in a little dorm. So I was like, I'm just gonna sleep on my friend's couch and like go back to my dorm in the morning. And then I woke up on their couch the next morning to someone standing over me while I'm sleeping going, Megan, Megan. And I wake up and it's him, and I was like, what are you doing in here? And I was like, don't talk to me, don't talk to me. And he was like, this is what he says, can I get you Andy's and we can talk it out? Sir, it is 9 in the morning. We're gonna go to Andy's and you're gonna talk about how I just walked in on you with another girl? No. So yeah, that is like the story of the time I walked in on him with another girl and took a video of it. And oh my gosh, he got like messed up on campus by all my friends. My friends would roll the windows down and like scream at him, and he'd be like talking to like other girls on campus or as like friends, and they'd be like, screw you, like screaming at him through the window. Or like my whole sorority like posted on Yik Yak or something. I can't really remember. I have a bunch of screenshots, but yeah, so that's literally the time I took a video of it. Obviously, it doesn't faze me anymore because I'm in a new relationship at this point. It's hilarious, like so funny, and I had to share it because I want y'all to hear. Should I post the video? Bye.
I actually found out about it a year after, and this is how I went. So I'm a realtor. I was door knocking for one of my investors in the city of Boyle Heights. and 4 properties that my investor had his eye on because it was multi-units, so property. And I can hear a bunch of people inside the house, but no one's responding to my door knock, you know? So I'm like, you know, we're waiting for a response. It was me and my ex-business partner at the time. No one's responding, but we could hear people in there, and there's cameras at the front of the door. And no one comes out, so we're like, okay, whatever, we leave. That was that. Like a year prior to that, I couldn't find anything on Netflix, so I go on to HBO Max, and boom, I see an account for with that girl's name and her photo. And I'm like, who the heck is this girl? Like, why is her HBO Max in, you know, our living room TV? Just didn't feel right. So I took a photo of that, like her information, right? Like the email and the name and the photo. And I let it go, let it be. So fast forward, you know, we were going to watch a fight with friends and his family. And so we're gathered and somehow we're trying to stream the fight and we can't. His brother is like trying to figure it out. And then his brother accidentally goes on to HBO Max and then like that account pops up again. And I noticed that my boyfriend's energy shifted and his reaction was just off and odd, you know, like he was nervous. And at this point I know him well enough to know that his reaction is just not normal. And then his brother's reaction is not normal. It's kind of like they just eyed each other, like, you know, and he got out of it so quickly, so something just it just didn't sit right, and it made me start thinking a little delusional, you know. I was a little like I'm onto that ass. Months later, I'm gonna grab a blanket and I'm wearing a coat. I'm wearing a gray coat similar to the one that I have back here. And when I grab the blankets from our closet, I realized that I have a ton of blonde hair on my coat. At the time, I had black hair, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck is this fucking blonde hair coming from? And he's like, oh, like you're tripping, like, you know, you probably picked that up somewhere else, like you're just tripping. And I'm like, one day we're gonna go to the gym and he's driving, so I get in the passenger seat and boom, in the dashboard there's like this long strand of blonde hair just sitting there. And I can tell that it was purposely placed there because as a woman, like, your hair just doesn't shed like that. Like, it's just unreal, girl. Like, so I was just like, why is there blonde hair here again? Like, I'm so like nervous. And he kind of like chuckled and he's like, oh, well, remember I had let my boy borrow the car and he has a sister who has blonde hair, so maybe, or his girl or something, or my brother's girlfriend has blonde hair, so maybe. So I was like, all right, maybe. But as a woman, we just know, we have that freaking gut feeling and we need to trust that. Because, dude, I just should have known. To all of this, guys, then I start finding sheddings of lashes. At the time, I had never gotten my lashes done, so I'm like, I mean, I wear lashes, but strips. So I'm like, what the fuck, you know? But I didn't want to sound crazy at that point because, I mean, that sounds crazy. Like, why are there eyelashes here? You know, like, it was just crazy. But we were on and off. I don't know. It was just messy. When I'm finding all these hairs, he's acting so freaking sneaky. He doesn't want to sleep with me. He's like, I'm going to sleep in the other room. And like, you know, and everything and anything would bother him about me. And he just, at that point, he hated me. Like, it was just like, I was sleeping next to my enemy. It was fucking sad. It was just too much. So, then one day, I'm just in doubt and I'm like, that like memory of me taking that screenshot and like that photo of that girl's information and the blonde hair was just in the back of my head. We had a huge argument, so I start lurking. Her email, I have her name, I'm trying to find her, and then I come across this page in particular and I'm like, no, this can't fucking be it. Like, we had one friend in common and I was like, there's no way, like, this can't be the girl. Her page was public. And I'm like, there's no fucking way, you know? Like, there's no fucking way. There's just no way. This girl is really bad looking. And not only that, but she looks crazy. And, you know, I don't want to bash the girl. Terrible. What I was seeing, and I'm like, the way she carried herself, I was just like, what? Like, you would fucking lose your shit if I were to do something like that, or to post something like that, or to, like, carry a lifestyle as such. And it was just like so disappointing, and I'm like, there's no way this could be the girl. And boom, I ran into the photo that matched the damn HBO account. So I'm like, holy smokes, this is the girl. Comes up a photo of her in my bedroom, in our bedroom. Girl, I didn't sleep, dude. It was 4 a.m. and my anxiety was out the damn roof. Our bed was undone in the background and I was shattered. Plot twist. When I reverse search her and figure out like more about her, I come to find out that she lives in the property that I freaking door knocked a year prior. Can you guys imagine how crazy it is? Like, it was just insane. So now it makes sense why they didn't answer the door. She probably thought I was knocking her door because of my mans, and I was there for business, and that little did I know. Girl, can you guys imagine that?
Get ready with me while I tell you the story of how I caught my boyfriend cheating on me. It all started when we went on a trip to Tulum. I started feeling really sick, so I took a pregnancy test and realized that I was pregnant. And when I went up to the pool to tell him, he was there with another girl. Side note, I love this stuff. It's snail mucin. I've linked it, and you can also get it in my Amazon storefront. So I caught him with this other girl in the pool. They weren't doing anything, but that's the first sign for me of how things started to get really weird. We decided that we were going to do our own thing on the trip because I was mad that he was talking to other girls behind my back and he was saying that I'm crazy and overreacting. So I started doing my own thing in Tulum, meeting new people, going to new restaurants and clubs. And when you have any type of influence online, they'll actually give you free dinners, free bottles at clubs, and even free hookah at different lounges. So I decide to go see my family for Thanksgiving in Florida, and I leave my bags in Tulum with him. Now, I guess I did that because I did want the relationship to work. He was the hottest guy I ever dated, but also like the most fun and like most confident and like motivating person. I lost like 40 pounds because he would train me every day. I was still pregnant and he did not want to keep it because he already had 3 kids. That should have been my first red flag right there. So I'm celebrating Thanksgiving with my family. He was answering the phone and then all of a sudden I really like stopped hearing from him. And that is when I just knew that he was with someone else. So I went back, I got my stuff and he was not there. I then walked outside to get tacos. And because I didn't have a car in Tulum, it's kind of scary to drive. You might get pulled over and cops might take you just because you're American. I see him in a taxi and he literally just passes me by, literally looks at me and just keeps going. So I go to the corner store and get myself the meds to get rid of the baby. Now, while I'm sitting there in the Airbnb bleeding out by myself, I start going through his Instagram followers. Lo and behold, I find a really cute girl who looks just like me, and her story is her in a hotel and her getting flowers and her at dinner. I don't say anything. I actually told him, hey, I'm going to the airport. He's like, I want to go with you. And I was like, okay. I was like, come get your stuff. I'm not going to carry all these bags by myself. And he never came. So I ended up having to take 2 suitcases from Tulum to the Cancun airport. He shows up a hot mess. He still has sand all over him. He looks absolutely crazy. And that's when I see the text come in, Jessica. And that was the girl that I saw with the flowers and the hotel on her Instagram story. Again, I don't say anything. I'm literally having to get on a plane with this person and then have to drive my car from the Tijuana airport back to Los Angeles. So yeah, I still wasn't gonna say anything. At this point, we are not talking. And like, I know, he knows, we just gotta get back to LA. And that's when I waited till he went to the gym because we were living together, but it was my place. Ladies, always have a backup plan or always have your own place. But I waited for him to go to the gym and then put all his stuff in the lobby. And I texted him, hey, all your stuff is in the lobby. and then I blocked his number. He started calling me, texting me on Instagram, and I just did not answer. You're not about to give me diseases and treat me bad and go missing while I'm pregnant. That's not cool. Luckily, I never caught anything, but, you know, I just think about things like that, about safety, about health, and that's what's really important to me. And because of that, I was a virgin till I was 19 years old because I'm so weary of things like that. So I want to say this. You can be the most beautiful, most loyal, smartest, educated, ride or die chick and still get cheated on. And honestly, that has nothing to do with you as a woman. You could be the best woman that there is, but men are just insecure, and that's not your fault. So if this ever happened to you, you know, it's okay. It's happened to all of us. And if someone said it didn't happen to them, they probably just didn't find out. If you made it this far, I love you. This is Nutmeg.
Get ready for me when I tell you guys how I found out my ex was cheating on me through a reflection of a picture. And like, I am so serious. I found out he was cheating on me because I literally was able to see a reflection in a picture. It was going great. Like, everything was fine. Like, we would FaceTime every single morning, every single night. Like, when I would get ready for school, like, we'd be on the phone, always a good morning text. Like, we were like medium distance, so we saw each other every single weekend. And he would always update me. Like, he was busy, he would text me. Like, he'll let me know, like, oh, I'm gonna be busy today. So I never worried about anything until one weekend he told me he's gonna be like super busy the whole day. He's gonna be with his family, because his family from Michigan is coming like up to see him. So then I'm like, okay, like, that's fine. He's barely responding all day, but I was just like, he's like with his family, so it's okay. So he goes, like, his location's like at this like Italian restaurant, and then I see him post like a blurry picture of like him like at the restaurant. It's just his plate and then like his hand. But then tell me why in like the reflection of the spoon, like, y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I don't know, I really feel like this was like God like really trying to show me something, because like, why can I see a reflection in a spoon? Anyways, in the reflection of the spoon, I see a wine glass and I see red acrylic nails holding the wine glass. So I go like through his following at this point, and I'm like trying to see if I can find like one, like a girl posting a restaurant, like, because usually when you're on a date night, you post that you're on a date night. And he only followed like 300 people, so I was like, this is gonna be easy. I literally found her. I found her. She posted him, like, she didn't post him, but like she posted like their plates, and I was like, yeah, like, this is her. So I text my best friend and I'm like telling her like literally what's going on, and she's like, let's pull up, like, we need to pull up. So I pull up to the restaurant, and there and behold, like, they're literally sitting right there. Like, so I call him to see if he'll take my call, and he he takes it, like, he's just like tells her like, hold on. I see him mouth, my sister's calling me, and then he like leaves the table and he's like, hey baby, blah blah blah, like starts talking to me on the phone. So then I'm like, oh, okay. So I go up to their table while he's talking to me on the phone, because where he was standing, he couldn't see me. I go up to their table while he's talking to me on the phone, and I like sit down, and then I'm like, okay, like, she's looking at me crazy. And then like I like hang up the phone, and then he comes back to the table and he sees me. Yeah. And I was just like, it's so cute that you like Italian, right? Isn't it cute that you like Italian? You're bringing her? Is this your first date? And then she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, he didn't tell you he has a girlfriend of 8 months? Like, how can you miss it? How can you miss it? And then, yeah, and then I just got up and I left, because, fuck, I blocked him. And that's how I found out my man was cheating on me, through a reflection on a picture.